No woman could make that shot. The spotters were already calling for air support. Lieutenant Morrison had dismissed her offer to engage. Now Chief Petty Officer Sable Winters lay prone in Afghan mountain fog, her Macmillan TAC-50 trained on Taliban fighters, setting up mortars 2,200 meters away, a distance where physics itself challenged precision. Yet her grandfather's Silver Star citation described a similar shot that saved an entire platoon in Vietnam. Sable adjusted her scope's parallax. The Hindu Kush disappeared into morning mist below. 31 attached to SEAL Team 4, as designated marksman, she'd lain in this position for 14 hours. Below, 12 operators were trapped in a compound, while Taliban fighters prepared indirect fire from distances most shooters wouldn't even consider. The team knew her as the quiet one who'd qualified expert on every rifle from M4 to anti-material platforms, who could calculate wind drift faster than most could with a ballistic calculator. They didn't know her grandfather had taught her on a Wyoming ranch using his old Winchester Model 70, the rifle that earned his Silver Star. Shooting, he'd said, was mathematics made lethal. Wind speed, time of flight, bullet drop, even the Coriolis effect. Each morning before school, they'd read Mirage, judge distance, and control breathing until her heartbeat barely moved the crosshairs. He made her calculate range with the mil-dot formula. The real skill isn't pulling the trigger. It's knowing everything that happens to that bullet. At 22, with a math degree, she enlisted. She finished first in the Naval Special Warfare Sniper course, the first woman to do so. The instructors had tried to break her, making her shoot after miles of running, hands shaking from exhaustion. She still hit center mass at 1,000 meters. Nisaufsbauer's command had noticed. She joined the teams not for glory, but for legacy. Her grandfather had died 2 months before graduation. His final words, "Always take the hard shots others say are impossible." The skepticism began during mission planning 12 hours earlier. Intel showed a Taliban mortar team moving into position 2.2 kilometers from the compound. Morrison had called it, "That's extreme range, even for precision systems. We'll call in CAS if they go active." "Sir, I can make that shot with the TAC-50, she'd said. Reeves, her spotter, laughed. "Chief, you'd need perfect conditions and luck." "We're not risking the mission on low probability shots," Morrison had cut in. Now air support was 20 minutes out, and the mortar team was almost set. Through her scope, she saw 5 fighters positioning an 82mm tube that could drop rounds on the pinned seals. Morrison's voice crackled. "Winters, tell me you have something." "The mortar team's at 2,147 meters, she answered. "Marginal probability." He cursed, ordering the team to brace for indirect fire. Sable pressed her eye to the scope. Her grandfather's words returned. "When everyone says impossible, that's when you prove what's possible." She began calculating. 18.5 mils elevation, 3 seconds of flight, wind pushing left. At this range, the bullet would go transonic, destabilizing below the speed of sound. 1 mile per hour of wind error meant a 2-foot miss, but she'd trained for this. "Sir," she radioed, "I have a high-confidence firing solution. Request permission to engage." A pause. "Winters, if you're confident, you're cleared hot. Make it count." Through the scope, she saw the first mortar round detonate 600 meters from the compound. They were walking it in. Second round, 300 out. KAS still 15 minutes away. She settled in, breathing slow. The TAC-50's weight pressed into her shoulder. Mirage danced through the valley, 8 MPR wind near her, 12 mid-flight, 6 near target. She dialed in, chambered around, and waited for stillness between heartbeats. The crosshairs steadied on the team leader. She squeezed the trigger. The TAC-50 roared. 3 seconds later, impact, center mass. Before the others reacted, she cycled the bolt, fired again, hitting the assistant gunner. 3 more measured shots. 4 enemies down. The 5th vanished into caves. The mortar tube lay abandoned. Morrison's voice came through, calm but awed. "Outstanding shooting, Winters. Mortar threat neutralized. Cover our movement." She kept overwatch as the team displaced. The math had been perfect, the shooting precise, just as her grandfather would have done. A week later at Bagram, Morrison presented her with a Bronze Star with Valor. The citation echoed her grandfather's from 50 years before. Extraordinary marksmanship under combat conditions, saving lives through exceptional precision shooting. Reeves approached after the ceremony. "Chief, I owe you an apology. I'd have called that shot luck. How'd you know you could make it?" She thought of her grandfather, of math and instinct, then simply said, "When your teammates' lives are on the line, marginal odds are worth taking." 6 months later, she left active duty, returning to Wyoming to run a precision shooting school for military and law enforcement. Her Bronze Star hung beside her grandfather's Silver Star. Two generations of marksmen who took impossible shots when they mattered most. At her range, she trained the next generation, especially young women who faced the same doubts she had, teaching them that the hardest shots were always the ones worth taking.